Kuwait Airport hit. US House tells Trump end the war. And what is the PL-16? The Iran-US war didn't end. It just changed the battlefield. And right now, Kuwait and Bahrain are getting hit, while a peace deal sits on the table collecting dust. Iran's latest strikes aren't random. There's a message in them, and that message is loud. The ceasefire is hanging by a thread. The next 48 hours decide everything. Make the wrong move now, and we're back to full war mode. All eyes are on Washington. Marco Rubio just dropped this. A joint Israel-Lebanon statement could land Wednesday. Why should you care? Because if that statement drops, the chances of an Iran-US MOU jump overnight. A memorandum of understanding, the first real paper towards de-escalation. And here's what nobody's saying. Despite the missiles, despite the tit-for-tat, neither side has killed the ceasefire. Neither side has walked away from the talks. Trump himself said, "I'd want to meet Iran's supreme leader someday." The translation is, the door to diplomacy still open, even with bombs flying. So this is where we are. Missiles in the air, diplomats at the table, Kuwait and Bahrain caught in the middle. The next 2 days do not just decide Iran versus US. They decide if this generation sees another endless war or the first real breakthrough in years. On Checkmate, your move, Washington. Your move, Tehran. What happens next? War or a deal? Kuwait was attacked again. Iran says, we did not attack the civilian airport in Kuwait. Iran says a Patriot missile interceptor hit Kuwait Airport. The US denies it. And on Wednesday, those strikes that hit Kuwait Airport injured at least 60 people. Iran on Wednesday said that the strikes on Kuwait's airport caused extensive damage, but were the result of the US Patriot missile interceptor. The US Central Command immediately denied it. So let's presume Iran did hit Kuwait. Why did Iran hit Kuwait Airport? Iran chose a high-profile, yet soft target, meaning big headlines, big impact, but easier to hit. It's only 150 miles, that's 240 kilometers away from Iran. And Iran has been using this military strategy throughout. Low cost, high impact. Spend less, win more. Throughout the war, here on The War Room, we've discussed Iran's saturation strategy, which means volume over accuracy. Remember I said yesterday, Iran is using drones and missiles like pelting stones. And the 30 Fateh ballistic missiles that were believed to have been fired at Kuwait Airport, even one or two slipping through the defense, is enough to cause significant damage. But Iran's main war weapon has been delivering a message. So why hit Kuwait Airport? Because the US airbase Ali Al Salim in Kuwait is shielded with Patriot defense missile system. Why hit Kuwait now, though? Because Kuwait is still a US ally, and it's not only an easy target, but serves a dual function. One, driving a hard bargain on the peace deal with the US. And two, making sure the US stops Israel from bombing Lebanon. And it's Marco Rubio again. Marco Rubio has a tough job indeed. From pretending not to have read racist tweets to not seeing Sleepy Don sitting right beside him. Marco had to face a lot of tough questions, even when he was presented with hard evidence. Rubio said that it didn't look like Donald was sleeping next to him. But he had to admit that he himself isn't getting much sleep because of Trump.
Secretary Rubio, have you been at more than one meeting where President Trump has fallen asleep?
That's false. That's false. I've never seen him fall asleep. On the contrary, the guy doesn't sleep, which is a big problem because he calls me at 2 in the morning, he calls me at 5 in the morning. And I like to sleep a little bit, maybe not 12 hours or at least 6. So he works. The other day he was at the Oval Office until 12:30 p.m. 12:30 a.m. I don't know what you're talking about.
Secretary Rubio, I'm going to show you in a moment a video that shows you just lied to Congress.
Oh, okay.
So this is a video of a cabinet meeting literally from last month where Donald Trump is sleeping while you're talking. Please show this video.
He might also be perturbed about the House voting to end the war. The War Powers Resolution was passed by the House with 4 Republicans siding with the Democrats this time. The resolution was passed by 215 to 208. This is a huge rebuke to the US president. This is the 4th attempt by the House of Representatives to rein in Trump, and with every vote, the resolution is gaining support. The war is unpopular and, of course, illegal. The world and the House of Representatives is telling Trump exactly that. But will he listen? And now it still has to get the approval of the Senate, but it's worrying as well as embarrassing for any US president leading the country to war. Rubio, however, came up with a fresh diversion, which is being welcomed in Pakistan. The emphasis on finding new business partners to avoid a total dependency on China.
The United States, and I would argue the world, cannot depend on one country for 90% of anything, especially 90% of things that are critical to our economies, not from our weapon systems to our pharmaceuticals. We just can't live in a world in which we rely on anybody for 90% of what we get in one sole source that could be cut off at any time as leverage against us or punishment or in a time of conflict. And so we are actively searching and have plans in place, and we're implementing these to diversify where we get critical minerals, where we get our supply chain, secure that supply chain. And obviously the Chinese would like to retain their monopoly position in some of these. This is going to be a long-term issue that we're going to have to continue to confront and work on. Work on that continues even while we are engaged in the ability to dialogue and speak to them, because we have to. It's responsible, and we truly have no choice but to be able to do that. It's to their benefit and ours, and I would argue to the benefit of the world.
Who has critical minerals? Pakistan. Remember the field marshal giving Trump a little glimpse in the White House of what Pakistan has? Well, the US foreign policy has shifted its focus from oil to mineral acquisition. And the race is on for copper, gold, lithium, cobalt, antimony, everything from iPhones to semiconductors to AI, from EV to defense equipment relies on these very critical minerals. And here too, China is miles ahead of the US. So far, 90% of these minerals were controlled by China, and America is trying to catch up. Now, trying to get China to share was one strategy, but the second, perhaps more reliable option is by striking a friendship with Pakistan's field marshal. Pakistan has unexplored minerals, but also an estimated $8 trillion in mineral treasures lie in and around the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. And the problem Pakistan and the American administration faces is one created by them. Afghanistan is left in a mess when the US decided unilaterally to withdraw troops back in 2021 and left everything in the hands of the Taliban government. But the Afghanistan and Afghans cannot be left to warlords and Afghans left to starve. Afghanistan is not only facing shortages of food, but also severe human rights violations. Women face abuse on a daily basis and are forced to beg. And children are being sold into sex slavery. And there is no hope in sight, as the mess left behind is not only a problem for Pakistan, but this will also be problematic for anyone trying to strike a deal, a trade deal, with the interim Taliban government. Why? Because there was also American weaponry left in the hands of the militant jihadis America created. Even the Russia military deal is about fixing old weaponry left behind from the Afghan-Soviet war that America created. Not only Soviet weapons, but we're talking about 300,000 small arms, US weapons left behind. There are rocket launchers, mortars, cannons, surveillance, and even night vision equipment, all stamped with the property of the US government. The only hope is Trump's favorite field marshal. It will have to be a mixture of military influence and military diplomacy to get a great deal for the entire region and perhaps give Trump the minerals he so badly needs. Only Pakistan has a multi-purpose solution, one that will bring food and security for Afghans and relieve Americans from China dependence, but above all, bring prosperity to Pakistan by reviving the local economy. How? By being the bridge that connects the world, presenting Pakistan as the value addition center of the global south, and bridging the gap between China and the West. India's desperation to isolate Pakistan is being snubbed at every forum. The foreign minister of Turkey was speaking at the Rathel lecture in Singapore and gave some big brother advice to India. In the clip, Hakan Fidan schools India on maturity in international relationships. India should not be resentful, he said, if any country has good relations with Pakistan. It is, he stressed, important that Pakistan enjoys good relationships with a lot of countries, including Turkey, and India shouldn't be upset about that. India should understand that countries can maintain relationships with different countries at the same time, according to their national interests. While getting upset with Turkey and others for still being friends with Pakistan, India is rooting for Russia to take a U-turn on Afghanistan. The Indians are portraying the Russians selling arms to Afghanistan as a potential serious threat to Pakistan. It's actually just fixing old weaponry. And it isn't a recent flip by Russia. The Soviet Union is long gone, and with its breakup, the feuds have been buried. If Pakistan can enjoy excellent relations with Russia, why would it be a reason to fear that Taliban and Russia are collaborating over trade? This is the childishness that India needs to snap out of. No matter what the Taliban buy from Russia, Pakistan is a nuclear power and a force to reckon with. Surely India can't have forgotten the crushing consequences of Operation Sindoor. Which leads us nicely to how Pakistan shot down the very expensive French Rafales. It was the air-to-air missile PL-15 developed by China. The export version, PL-15E, is used by the Pakistan Air Force and is the primary beyond visual range missile for aerial combat. And this is used by fighter jets, of course. During Bunyana Mursus, Pakistan Air Force engaged in the longest aerial battle in recent history. It lasted almost an hour. On the 7th of May 2025, the PL-15E was deployed in combat during the mini-war between India and Pakistan. And the airstrikes by the Pakistan Air Force, this operation was called the Bunyana Mursus. This is believed to be the missile's first combat deployment. The Pakistan Air Force used Chengdu J-10C and PL-15 missiles to shoot down a number of Indian aircrafts, including the very expensive French-made Rafales. Pakistan said they shot as far as 200 kilometers, but some reports from India claim that the target could have been even further. Now, China's next generation PL-16 BVR missiles can destroy all types of aerial targets up to 300 kilometers. This one is equipped with better anti-EW capabilities and 50% more combat effectiveness than the previous PL-15. That sounds like a perfect fit for the Pakistan Air Force to strengthen its aerial capabilities. And there are rumors in Islamabad that Pakistan Air Force might be the first ones to get these super air-to-air missiles. America was so impressed with the older PL-15 that they produced their own version. The U.S. Air Force's new AIM-260 air-to-air missile is a joint advanced tactical missile with a range of at least 193 kilometers. It is not clear when the AIM-260 will enter service, but U.S. officials have cited China's PL-15 missile as a key driver for this program. So while the U.S. is busy competing with China on everything from critical minerals to war machinery to technology and even EVs, but it seems that Pakistan is not only the bridge that connects the world, but is also proving to be the key beneficiary from both rival sides.